Hey. Cool. Good. Psst, hey, Tiny Dancer. What's going on over there? I'm back. I'm about like 3 weeks past my do it every 2 weeks deadline that I self-imposed. So, you know, ideally we don't say things and then not do them, right? We like to be in integrity with our word, especially if it's our word given to ourselves, which is really what this is. This is just me talking to me, mainly. Leatrice is looking nice. Let's take a look at the damage from the moles down here in the wildflower field. A beautiful bunch of greenery down there for sure, but goodness, look at the carnage. Look at that, so much. So these wildflower seeds were planted evenly across this entire area. And this first 10-foot stretch is what I had dug up and fluffed up to plant all the spring bulbs. And that's where the moles concentrated their activity and then where all the damage was. We got some wind coming in. I bet we're going to get some wind noise. Who doesn't love a little wind noise? Can I just say, though, foxgloves? Wow. Can I 2x this? I bet I can. We're going to go down. I'm going to walk down into those babies so I can get some nice foxglove love. But this whole area down here, for the past 8 years, I have been weed whacking it. So they've never had an opportunity to come up. And I don't know how they managed to become so densely distributed down there. It's a beautiful mystery, and I'm grateful for it. But yeah, things are good. Things are lush. There's a lush, dense greenness to everything here in the middle of June. What can I say? I can say that daylily flowers are soon to come. These little nubbins at the end of the stalks on this. I'm not sure what's happening with my focus on this app, which I can't seem to figure out how to use, even though I'm super smart and very tech savvy. What the heck? Let's just carry on. I'm going to try pausing this. Okay, and then stepping out from the east door, we've got this group now, this cluster of lilies. There had been one here that was a super big 6-footer, and now there's like 5 of them. Plants are awesome. Just saying, if you don't have a lot of plants in your life, get some plants if you can. This is the honeysuckle, one of the 3 honeysuckles, and stoked to continue to be able to report, stoked to be able to continue to report, and to be able to report continually that we still have no sign of that fungus that was such a devastation the last 2 seasons of possible growth. Here we have the pair of them have made their way up, and there is not an abundance of the blossoms yet, but you only need one to get the most epic scent out of these things. Oh my God. Also, the hummingbirds love them. Oh yeah. Got some weirdo lilies here. We don't know what's going on. What is even happening with these guys? Nothing else has even started to blossom, and these guys are blossoming, but in the weirdest way. I've never seen that. I don't know what the story is. And clematis, oh my gosh. Only took me 7 years to get some abundant clematis action happening. Look along this railing up here. We've got the honeysuckle. We've got this clematis. These 2, or however many are in this big pot up here, they haven't really started blooming yet, but that's okay. There's all the different varieties. And, this is going to be fun. I planted some flowering sweet pea vine seeds in here. And, oh, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? No. Okay, that's just a little piece of some greenery that fell probably from up here. But yeah, and this one, oh my gosh. This is like I mean, I was counting these, being like, oh, wow, 8 flowers last year, 12 flowers or whatever. And this is just dozens and dozens. And honestly, I missed the great moment with these. You can see that we're looking pretty run hard and put away wet. How does that go? Rode hard, put away something. Anyhow. Yeah, and that I'm pretty confident that the change was just that, like I thought, was pulling all the lilies out of these pots. They did not want to share. Who can blame them? Because the lilies don't want to share. What do you do when you get two things together and neither of them want to share? I guess you just get war. So, yeah, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Can I show you this, though? This is so cool. This particular this is three of these honeysuckle blossoms all in one little cluster. I love it. I don't know if that's a normal thing or not, but yeah, and I planted the sweet pea flowering vine seeds in this pot and this one over here, with the object being that, like, I've got this vision I've held for years of having this railing along here become completely covered in beautiful flowering greenery. And I think it's not impossible, It's not impossible. What's over here? I had these two big pots that I've been taking in with much labor in the fall and bringing back out in the spring. And they were both plants that really shouldn't be here. This is a passion flower, passiflora flowering vine. Killed that one. And then this one over here, also no business being here, a bougainvillea. No business at all. So I killed that. What I did is I left them both in the garage too long. So now we're going with something far more apropos. This is the tangerine something or other, tangerine slice appeal of the black-eyed Susan. And it's just busting out already. It's like sending its little tendrils up. It's got a dozen flowers. I'm down. This giant bulb lasagna pot is ripping. Lilies, I mean, honestly, you guys, lilies, lilies, God, what can I say? They're going to be so good this year. There are going to be literally thousands and thousands of lily flowers. My hens and chicks that I've been propagating are loving this area. These all came from this one, what was a hanging pot of them years ago, from 20 years back, and I've started spreading them around, and they've just taken root. Oh, super exciting. So my kiwi vine, yeah, I shit you not, I've been trying to get these Arctic kiwi fruits when I first heard about them, this special Russian kiwi that is amenable to cold climates. I read about them. They were a fruit that's like the size of a large grape and doesn't have the fur on it. You just eat it, pop it in your mouth. And it was described as being quite delicious, but everything in the nursery catalogs is described as being quite delicious. 30 years I've been trying in the house I owned prior to this one, over 20 years there, planting these vines, having them die, finding them, having them die, failing and failing. Finally got one to grow, but it was just a male. This one, that's a fruit, dude. Tell me it isn't. And so self-pollinating, I don't think I would have planted it by itself if it was just a female that needed pollen. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something I would have done. Like I would have maybe learned by now not to do that. These are some alliums. We're going to take a closer look at from this same collection over in the rock garden, because that's where there are more of them, easier to spot what's going on. They're super great. Lucifer crocosmia looking bold and good this year. I think we're going to see some flowers there. Last time, my last video, the wisteria was blooming, and now, of course, those are all gone. What are you going to do? I'll pause to walk over. Well, no, I'll just walk over. Fuck. Was it going to be like 12 seconds. I don't know about pausing the video and then going to a different location. Like if someone were to be watching this, it would be helpful perhaps to their sense of orientation on the estate of where things were. I don't know. Who really cares? Does anybody really care about anybody else's business? I don't think so. It's hard enough to care about your own, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Look at these electric pink. What the hell? These are the rose campion. And these flowers, they are only in the last few days have started to open up. And they're so cool. I love them so much. And I just learned also that they are similar to the foxglove. They are what's called a biennial. So they actually will have, let's take a look down here. I think the way that works is what you'll see is we have these baby rose campion here that are just getting started this year, maybe from seed, I guess. And they're not going to flower this year, but they're going to build up their roots and their foliage and stuff like that. And then they'll flower next year. And then all these big full-grown ones, they're going to seed like crazy. Every single flower makes a little pod that has literally hundreds of tiny seeds in it. That's how nature does it. Sperm everywhere. Yeah, kind of a mess up there. I'm still working on it. I got visions. I got plans. I'm a man with plans. My sedum wall area is just getting so filled in with so much goodness. Also some weeds and grasses and things, but I don't stress about that. Don't stress, man. This is the geraniums, and then something else. It's a perennial thing that I planted in here, and I can't tell you what it is, but it looks like it's getting ready to flower. Maybe then I'll be able to know what it is and be able to say what it is. But also, this is so good. Okay, check this out. These flowers. When my friend was here a month ago, she's kind of a bit of an expert on the local growing things, and I was walking around telling her, I had a half a dozen or so things that I was thinking about pulling out. I thought they were maybe just obnoxious weeds, and I said, "What's this thing? That looks kind of demonic. Should I pull this out? I've been thinking about pulling." She's, "No, those are sweet williams." And I was like, "Oh, well, that sounds nice. Who doesn't like a little sweet william in their life, right?" And lo and behold, because she saved these flowers. She saved them from my hand of doom. And I'm so grateful because not only are they so cute in all their colors, look at that red. That's off the charts. That is red like yo mama. What? Red like your mama. But also they smell really nice. Oh, very classy scent. Sweet williams. I want to have more of them. We'll see. I haven't had a whole lot of luck, just broadcasting seeds around and having them turn into plants. Bulbs, on the other hand, oh yes. This is where I planted 200 or so from this allium mix of 5 different varieties of allium from Van Engelen. And look at this ridiculous thing. Here, I'll put my hand in there so you can see for reference. It's huge. It's like the fluky weirdo of the batch for sure, because the same variety is here, and that's just the size of my fist. I don't know what the story is, but I love them. And we'll talk more about this when I get down to the flower field, to where the wildflowers are now, because the allium are going to be part of my big plan down there. And the lilies along here, which are a bunch of different kinds and different colors. And they're probably going to need some staking up. It looks like once these flowers start to open, they're going to get pretty heavy. And you can see here how much they're leaning. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Really enjoying this weird juxtaposition here between the completely groomed, controlled, sort of semi-meticulous, careful stuff here, right? Gladiolus, by the way, rocking it along the front edge. And the wood sorrel, the Oxalis adenophylla. Sadly, not enough sunshine today for their little twisted up flowers to open. But their flowers are so pretty. And they're doing great. You can see I have them planted around the whole perimeter. And this was their second year. And they're one of the things that are coming back like 100%. Which not everything does that. The lilies are really good for coming back generally. This is what I wanted to point out. I love this. So along the back wall here is just like the sheer chaos, wildness, which I was going to get in there and try to weed it out, and then decided not only was that more trouble than I wanted to do, but also it's just kind of cool back here. There's a bunch of strange shit going on, and I don't know what a lot of this is. Yesterday, my friend and neighbor Deanne was here, and she couldn't name most of these things. We see up here, obviously, the foxglove, and there's a rose campion, but otherwise, who knows? Anyhow, not worrying about it. You know what I'm worrying about? Stinky Bob. Oh my God. Stinky Bob, we will spot some, and when we do, I'll talk about Stinky Bob a little bit. Herb Robert, I think, is its more formal name, or perhaps it's Herb Robert, I don't know. But the kids call it Stinky Bob, and it is a vicious invader threatening the American way. Oh gosh. Yeah, so this is all not very interesting along here, except there's wild strawberries in here, which are really tasty, more than usual. More than they usually are. These are actually, for whatever reason, this area is making many of them. And they're buried in here under the leaves and things. Hard to see how many there are, but you pull the leaves back from the other plants. And even though there are some of them that have gotten no sunlight, they don't need sunlight to get ripe and sweet and red. So the only thing happening along the pathway garden right now is these alliums, which don't look like much at the moment, but they make these beautiful purple globes. And let's see. Gladiolus byzantinus, kind of a disappointment. My expectations were high, and the resulting amount of flowering, like there was one plot up there that had the daffodils at the base of the sedum wall where I planted 100 of those, and there's maybe a dozen. Meh. Yeah. Let's get in here. Let's see what we got to see. So, down into the wildflower field, which, to be honest, right now is dominated mostly by these little yellow things, which aren't in the seed mix. These guys are opportunists, and they're all over the place. And if I don't walk around here and pick all these flowers, there are 10,000 of them, pull them off, they're going to turn into seeds, and then the seeds are going to lie there. Lily Fantasia along the whole row. The orange ones are the first to come. This beautiful fire orange, and they are just a few days away from opening, I think. Although we don't have much warmth and sun scheduled for the next few days. They might not come. Yeah, wildflower field, so disappointing this year compared to last year at this time. Like these baby snapdragons here, they are awesome, and they were all over the place by this time, I think, last year. Yeah. I don't know the story. I mean, I did plant the seed. I spread the seed in the spring instead of last winter. And that's the big difference as far as I know. Down in here, the daylilies are busting out. They're really pretty happy. I'm having to kind of protect them from all the stuff that wants to grow in around them and then compete with their resources, mostly, sunlight. I've mentioned before I'm taking the novel approach of watering them this year, which today is the first rain we've had for weeks. Let's take a look at these. Are these not, tell me, are these not the sexiest? What? So some of these things, I'm 6 feet tall. This guy, he's 8 feet tall. And they've been flowering like this for weeks. They've been what? Look at that. I'm talking, wait, what? These have been flowering for weeks. And they do this awesome thing where they've got this tall column, right? Look at these little seed pods that are forming here, where each flower was. But this column comes up, and when they're first starting to flower, you've got something more like, what's an example? Maybe more like this one here, where the flowers are just opening on the bottom of the stalk, and then there's the little flowers to be at the top. And then, as time goes by, those flowers turn into seeds and drop away, and they continue this shifting up into the flowerlets. So I think we might even still have at least another week. We're kind of at peak flower density. Oh, Stinky Bob. I almost don't even want to talk about Stinky Bob. It's so depressing. Noxious, grows anywhere, shoots when its seeds are ready to flower, it pops the seeds out 15 to 20 feet. Ridiculous. And it grows, this is the thing about it too, it thrives in any situation. I've found it growing just on pure gravel. I have found it growing deep under the maple canopy, tucked up underneath a fern where it's basically getting zero sunlight, right? We got some poppies in here. Nice. Funnily enough, this area, which I've done nothing with ever before until this year, where I broadcast a different seed mixture. And this was a mixture of what is supposedly a shade-loving mix of annuals and perennials. And in here, we're seeing this abundance of the baby snapdragons all over. So I don't know. I don't have the answers. I figure it's going to take me a few decades before I start to feel like I've got a handle on this stuff. How's that for optimism? I worked mighty hard up in this hillside, all up in here, doing the manual weed whacking thing, because I had all this forget-me-nots, which now look just like this dead brush. Those were all this thick bunch of forget-me-nots, and I didn't want to go through and weed whack them all. I wanted to let them go through their seed process and max out. But also throughout this area was the Stinky Bob. So I had to crawl around up in there and pull it all out. It's good exercise. And it's interesting how much with this kind of gardening where you're living on the periphery, or you're living in a wilderness surrounded by a periphery, like a no man's land zone of what there has to be a transition from the chaos into your managed, manicured, deliberate sort of stuff. But also your attempts to manicure and be deliberate about everything has to be kind of squishy, because you're going to be constantly inundated with seeds and invaders and things. And I've probably mentioned this before, but I'm not wired to be like an English garden guy. I'm down with a certain amount of chaos. And I've been getting these gifts, like these foxgloves. These foxgloves over here, I didn't do that. All I had to do was not kill them. But it's interesting how much with the gardening it seems to be like half of it is choosing, preparing the soil, getting seeds and bulbs, planting them, nurturing them, watering them, protecting them. There's there's the nurturing side, and then there's the murdering, killing side, where you're finding out the stuff that you don't want, that's problematic, and then you have to figure out the ways to suppress. So nurturing and suppressing. What's here? A very fine hosta. Oh my, doesn't that look great? What? This plant has never had sunshine on it. So there you go. In case you're wondering, do hostas thrive, or can they thrive in absolute shade? Yes. And then this one, less cool, but cool. I think we're almost done. Thank God this is 25 minutes long. Oh my God. Let's say, I'm just going to stop right here. And that's where I would go up, and that's where I began, right up there from that door. Let's take one last look around. Ooh. Pretty good stuff, man. All right, well, thanks. Thanks, everybody. As in, thank you, me. Maple trees.